Yo guys, what's going on? This is Yoki Man here and welcome back to another episode of Bringing Back Bolton. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting into this one. It's been actually quite a fun time. The last 3 months have flown by. It's actually been a fun time for me. I've enjoyed playing through it. There's been some interesting developments, especially going forward with the team, some of the tactics. We've got another new tactic, which is good from one of the members of the Liquid Gaming Discord. I will link the Liquid Gaming Discord down below for you guys to go and check out. There's some good stuff in there. There's some tactical stuff in there. There's just general, grown men talking about Football Manager and football. So what's not to like, right? But let's get into the episode. Let's see what's been going on, and we'll kind of go through the situation. As you can see, the team's looking pretty good, and there's some greens there. So, I mean, it's been better than I expected, way better than I expected, but let's see. Right, guys, so first things first, it has been January, so there has been some transfers. Not much, as you guys know. We're absolutely poor. We were extremely poor. We have made one transfer. It was a loan signing. Daryl Murphy did leave, so that's his wage budget off the books, which was nice. We also had to release some of the loan players. I released two of the loan players. I will double check who they are and tell you, but they weren't important. We weren't playing them. I think it was the left winger, Anthony. Not going to try and say second name. Right, guys, that took me a while to find him because he wasn't actually in the loan bit. But yeah, Anthony, this guy, he barely played for me. He wasn't very good. When he did play, we're far better without him. To be honest with you, there's no point paying his wages. There was no point having him here. So we got rid of him. We also got rid of this lad, Aristotti Nisel. We got rid of him. It wasn't because I can't say his name. He was complaining about game time. He's probably, at that stage, maybe fourth choice centre-back, fifth choice sometimes, because I'm kind of favouring youth this season. Seems like a little bit of a free swing of the bat, so why not favour youth? So he just wasn't going to play. I don't see much point unless I have to playing the lone players or unless they massively improve us, because we might as well get the young talent being given game time and improving ahead of some of the older and just some of the lone players we got, because they're not going to be here next season. But yeah, so we let him go. And we brought in someone who could play left wing and up top. So when Edmondson's not firing, he could play up top. He can also play left wing, which was the key thing for me. He's basically replacing Anthony, and he's better. He's a lot better. Rahan Tulloch. We're just going to call him Tulloch. It's easier that way. I've seen him a few times before. I've used him a few times before from West Brom. He actually turns out to be a very good player. So he's actually really handy for us to have on loan. He does run out of contract as well. So maybe West Brom mess up. They don't re-sign him, and we sign him. That's probably not going to happen. I definitely don't have the money to pay him in wages as well. I think it's going to be really handy losing nearly enough all our players. They're literally just going to be replaced with young players that we're just going to keep progressively giving game time. We haven't had the youth intake yet, but we have had the, the initial evaluation, and there's supposed to be a couple of good players, but we'll see what happens. See if Bolton just continuously keep churning through great youngsters. That'd be awesome. Right, guys, so as I said, we have played ourselves 3 months. 3 months at a time is going to be the system, at least for the foreseeable future. For the time being, that's how we're going to do it. If it comes that we're just really enjoying this, Bolton said we're really in depth with it, maybe we'll do it a few more episodes. Maybe we'll do some live comms. I'm already thinking if there's cup finals, we're going to do them as live comms. Like, why not? It's a good one-off bonus episode to get a live com and to have some cup football. But as you can see, it's actually been a really good time. There's been some frustrating 3-2 results, which... Look, we shouldn't have performed the way we did. I'm going to go through some of the key results, some games that really upset me, but if you can already see, there's some really good runs. This game in particular is going to be interesting when we talk about it. But yeah, let's just go through some of the games, like get my mindset on how the team's been playing. I've added a third tactic, which we'll go through when we go through the tactics, as I mentioned at the start of the video. But let's just have a look at some of the results that really stood out to me. I mean, there's been some big wins. There's been some great performances as well. Right, guys, so we'll just start with one of the ones that I already pinpointed, the Gillingham game. This game was really frustrating for the time that the game turned around. We were 2-0 up. 2-0 up. And we conceded 3 goals. Just John Akindi, just out of nowhere, just really put the foot on the gas. And Charles Cook as well scored for them, which it was just bitterly disappointing to be 2 goals up in the replay and then concede 3 goals in the second half, like in such a quick period of time as well, especially the 2 that were the nail in the coffin when we actually played way better. And just really a dip in performance towards the end of the game really let us down in this match. But at times, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. And this result against Sunderland was unbelievable. A 3-1 victory. I was just really impressed because I think at the time, Sunderland might have been third. They're in the top end of the table. They're one of the best teams in this league, I would say, by far. And we actually managed to beat them 3-1. It was a really good performance. And Politic just played really well. I've actually offered him a new contract. Not just fully based on this result, but just because he was just so impressive. I'm just impressed with the way we performed. Everyone seemed to step up to the plate in this game and just really put out the best performance that they could. And that was really important. And some key performances. But Ronan Darcy, again, he's just fantastic. If you can pick him up, go and get him. I imagine some of these youngsters that you see in the save, especially at Bolton, if you're a bigger club, championship side or whatnot, you should certainly be able to go and pick them up season 1 for probably quite cheap because most of them are on 1-year contracts to start with. We've tied them down now. But with the 1-year contracts to start with, some of them are brilliant, and you should be able to go and get them for fairly cheap, I would imagine. So we're going to have to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because it's just a full-on collapse. And we showed with the Gillingham game that we're capable from time to time of just completely lapse of concentration and dropping off. A little bit of rotation, but some great performances. Again, I was really happy that Fitzmartin got a goal. Eddie Brown, I will show you Eddie Brown. Right, guys, so Eddie Brown, Bolton Academy, a youngster that we already had. He was having great performances, so one of the coaches suggested bringing him up. Now, I don't like any of the strikers, you know that, apart from Edmondson that we loaned in. So having a backup being a 19-year-old talent who's got potential, it's just made sense to me. It makes sense all around, doesn't it? But he's actually come into the team and he's played really well. As you can see, 18 goals in non-competitive football, which obviously was playing for the under-23s, I think it is, and doing really well. So we brought him up, and in 3 starts, he's got 2 goals and 4 off the bench. He's actually been really good. I'm excited to see how he does as well. Good homegrown talent. And yeah, definitely, honestly, there is such a gulf in youth talent at this team compared to other teams that I've been. Just the sheer amount and scope of great youngsters is just unreal, and I'm loving it. But yeah, as you can see, it went to penalties. We scored them all. They missed one, and we went through. So we're through in the leasing.com trophy. Let's have a look at who we got. I can't remember, actually. It's Leicester's under-23s in the quarterfinal. It's the potential of a cup final. So I'm quite excited about that because, you know, we're going to get another at the whip next season. We're going to be able to go for it again. We're probably going to be able to... I'm definitely sure that crack of the whip is not the same, but yeah, you know, it'll be fine. But we're definitely going to get another opportunity at this cup again next season. But how cool would it be to bring some kind of silverware, just even a final for Bolton with their plight? It'd just be fantastic. And last but not least, I couldn't not go over this game because I played it literally 20 minutes ago and it was unbelievable. One of my favourite performances, first half performances, might I add, of the team this season. And this is playing the new tactic, and Ryan Edmondson, within 15 minutes, I know one's a penalty, has a hat-trick. It was ridiculous, and Josh Vela scored an own goal as well. So, and he's an ex-Bolton player, so it was really fun to see. But it was just an insane performance. Every opportunity he got given at the start of the game went in, and Politic was just so great going forward. It just worked. We was just fantastic in that first half, that first 15 minutes. Just absolutely dominated, and the game was done and dusted in the first 15 minutes. So, yeah, really happy with this. And Ryan Edmondson went off the boil a little bit. He hadn't scored for a few games, and I was starting to worry that, you know, maybe he dropped in form. But this certainly reinstates him as the top striker at the club by a country mile. Right, guys, we're probably going to have to talk about it in every episode, but as you can see here, the debt is crippling. It's getting worse. I don't even think there's enough young sellable assets at the club, which is really, it's the saving grace at the minute that we have such a great youth system. But I don't even think there's enough young sellable assets to get us out of this situation. So really, in hindsight, after this season, going into next season, promotion is key. And consistently pushing ourselves through those leagues is going to be so key because we need to get a cash injection somehow, whether it be new ownership or I have no idea how we're going to make up the debt because it really is at this moment in time pretty bad. I'm worried. This is half a season. And we built the budget up at the start of the season as well by doing some friendlies, so on and so forth. I will show you guys that trick probably at the start of next season so that you can see how we do it. Might do it as like a little bit of an episode if you don't know the little trick. It's a good technique. But yeah, and we're still hemorrhaging money. So 2.5 in the red. And it's only been half a season, so by the end of the season, it's going to be even worse. So yeah, I'm definitely worried about this financial situation that we find ourselves in. Right, guys, so it wouldn't be an episode of this Bolton Safe without us going through the squad and just giving our overall opinion here, how the squad's performing, how we're finding the team, and some of the keys to us consistently improving in the future. As you can see, there's actually some key players who have played a lot of games, but Luke Murphy's one that I like to pinpoint because we're just paying him too much, but he's a clear example of a great player at the club. Him and Lowe, if Lowe didn't have the injury problems, has been a very good player. In fact, his form recently has been fantastic. But the big issue is just that 9k per week. And, you know, I do have in my head that at the end of the season, if we offer them new contracts and they're willing to take big pay cuts, and I really do mean big pay cuts because the wages overall, we can't sustain those two players. It just doesn't make sense. Now, we are paying Politic quite a bit more money, but I just felt like it was needed. We're paying him 3.7 now per week. It just makes sense. He's played the most games out of everyone. 6 goals, 6 assists. He's been very key for me, and I think we needed to tie him down because he was going to be out of contract soon. We also needed to make sure that he was tied down in terms of I got rid of a release clause that he had. And I just think he's going to go for big money. Genuinely, that's my thought process at the minute. I think he'll go for big money. Another season in this league as well, a league that he's pretty good in, to be fair. He's a standout player. It's not going to be much of an issue. Now, Lowe is an issue because of his injuries. He got a red card as well in the last match, but he did score the winner. So he scored the winner, and he got himself a red card. But he's put in only 9 appearances, but he's been very, very good when he has played, when I've actually been able to play him. But again, the problem, 8k a week. He's only played 9 games. So at least with Luke Murphy, he's played the second highest amount of games in the team. So it doesn't warrant 9k because I think 9k is too big of a wage at this level. But it actually means that at least we're getting our money's worth to a degree. Because look at his performances. His average rating is 7.20. So he's actually having great performances. And Lowe's performances, his average overall is 7. And he does perform well when he plays, but with his injuries, he's just not worthwhile. He's just a big wage to have for someone who's not playing that much. When you look at the rest of the wages, and a lot of these players are going to go, if we're being realistic, Hobbs probably won't be here. Matthews, I probably will trigger his extension. Most players have extensions. Probably will trigger his extension because he's a solid goalkeeper for this level. And I think once you've got that, there's no point losing it. And 3k a week for a solid goalkeeper at this level, I can deal with. But there's certainly going to be some players. You know, we've got people like Joe Bunny who's earning $2,000 and he's played 3 times. So I think when you assess your squad and you look through them, a big key for me is, are they worth the wage, especially at this level, for the games they've played? So sometimes you can warrant a player because they're playing all your games. Now, again, with Luke Murphy on $9,000 a week, he's playing all his games, so he's kind of worth the wage. But someone like Crawford, again, $2,000. You add that's $4,000 there that we're paying for no reason. Harry's actually been a brilliant player, so I can't really complain about him. Let's go to the goals, and obviously, I pointed out it several times, Ryan Edmondson was a godsend. I'm so glad as a Leeds fan, 1, I knew about him, and 2, that I was just really excited to pick him up. He was the first player that I wanted on loan. We're only paying him £750 a week, which is really exciting as well. He's got 17 goals and 2 assists in 28 games. Now, I mentioned he went off the boil a little bit, but he's just been superb. He's carried the team in terms of goals. But what's nice to see is it is a little bit spread out. Mellis has got 6 goals in 18 games. He's been a good performer off the bench, and we're not paying him a ridiculous amount, so I'll probably keep him around. Dennis again there, 6 and 6 assists. Darcy has been superb. Really, we're going to be lucky to hold on to him for more than another season. I thought he was going to go this season, but we managed to get him to re-sign a contract. But 7 goals and 4 assists, and his average rating of 7.16. His rating at the minute, 7.44. Honestly, he's just been fantastic, and we're paying him nothing. £325 a week. Really, he's just been such a standout player at Cam. It's been fantastic. Also, it's nice to see some of the other loans really have an effect. Ethan Hamilton has actually been really good. I've been impressed with him. 21 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists, average rating of 7. So it just shows that he paid off as a good loan for Man United. £425 a week. There's been some players like that. Brown as well, his output's been good. We've just got to keep in mind, I've never had to watch the finances so much when I'm assessing a squad. Usually when you're assessing a squad, the finances at this level are kind of in your head, but you don't have the debt. So now I'm kind of having to assess it as, if I don't need them here, if they're not in my starting 11 or they're not, intending to be my starting 11 at all times, if they're over a certain threshold, I'd probably say, near enough £1,000. If they're over £1,000 a week, what's the point in having them? It's too much of an expense, and it's also probably a player that's going to step in front of one of the youngsters we've got. And the youth, like I've said on several occasions, is so important to this save. But yeah, I think overall, I couldn't be happier with the squad, the way we're playing, the performances that we're getting on the pitch. The squad is really good, and just the outright potential it's just outrageous, to be honest with you. There's some players there that I think could be key as well in the future seasons. We really need to push forward. Getting Murphy off the books, though, was huge, because we were paying Murphy far too much money, and now he's gone. So we're seeing that transition now of these older players. I think we're just going to build this on youth for now, because it's the best way to make money as well in the game, is to sell off young players. Right, guys, so I know you've seen the other 2 tactics, but this is the tactic that we're running. Cam in the Discord was using this tactic with his Rangers team, and I just thought, as soon as I saw the tactic, I thought the shape will fit our team, so I wanted to give it a go. So the rotation, I've still been using this one from Vass quite a bit, and this one, to be honest with you, the one that I put in myself, I've barely touched. I tend to use it on a game where I think we're going to be really dominant, or a game where I just think, let's just throw everything at the game and see what happens, because it doesn't really matter if we win or lose. Let's just roll the dice. But this is what we've been playing. It's pretty simple as well in instructions, and I just think it seems to play well. It highlights players like Edmondson and Politic, and Murphy has done really well, and so has Lowe in this formation. So I'm not overly keen on the ball-playing defenders, but it doesn't seem to have caused us any problems so far. In fact, the tactics worked really well. This is the tactic, like I said, we used in the 4-0 against Shrewsbury. But yeah, so that's the tactic at the minute that we've added in. Feel free, guys. Obviously, when you're posting your tactics or you're suggesting a tactic, try and think about the team that we've got while handing me the tactic. Try and think about the team we've got, so that the players might... Like, if it's not going to fit the players, it's going to be very difficult for me to see the best results of your tactic, which is what I want to do. And then what I'm going to do at the end of the season is we'll probably do a little bit of a highlight over the tactic that maybe I thought was the best, or just actually the tactics that I've really enjoyed throughout the season, and I think definitely is a good option for people to try. Right, guys, well, that's going to be it for another episode of Bringing Back Bolton. I just want to say thank you, first of all, for all the support you've shown in the series so far, with 2 episodes up. I know it's a bit of an it's a weird series because of how long it takes for each episode. Now, what you've got to remember is I'm streaming over on Twitch. Go check me out. I'm also doing the FC20 save, so to actually find time to sit down and play a 3-month period of Bolton actually takes a little bit of time. So I really do appreciate people being patient and waiting around for episodes and whatnot. They're going to keep coming as fast as possible, because I'm enjoying the save. It's a complete different style of save than I'd normally do, and it's a complete different style of upload that I'd normally do. So I'm finding that interesting as well. But thank you very much, guys. Make sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to leave your formations if you want them to be put into the rotation, as you've seen the formations today. I'm enjoying using all 3 of them, and I like the balance of having a certain formation for a certain style of team that we're going to play against. I think it makes it a little bit more realistic. But that's going to be it for this one. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.